two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo.
Slap it up and put it down because we are family here at Medium Popcorn. I'm your boy, Eddie Collins.
Hey, guys. Shooba the Doo Bop, Christopher Reeves, Jogo Hogo, Hala Google. This is Justin Brown.
Yeah, and we're doing the damn thing. We got some folks in the chat as we're recording. Shout out to Ali. Our producer Lluvia. Remember, if you sign up at patreon.com/Medium Popcorn, you were able to join us live when we record these episodes if we're not in person. And sometimes even when we are in person, we still come on a Zoom to be able to interact with fans. So patreon.com/Medium Popcorn. That's right. And we recall Medium Popcorn niggas spoiling movies, but we're not really spoiling this movie because it came out over 20 years ago.
Yeah, we reliving movies too.
And to be honest, if you are having this movie spoiled for you with this review from this 1996 hilarious comedy, then you need to check yourself. This is on Amazon Prime right fucking now. You need to pause this episode.
How dare you? And
go watch this shit. Because this is one of the funniest comedies of like the past, I would say, since I've been alive. Like, it's one of the funniest comedies I've ever seen, just because
it's great movie.
You have the trifecta of Robin Williams, Nathan Lane breaking out in film, and Hank Azaria, and they're just dealing with such crazy, like, their dynamic is so fucking wild. It's just like, I was laughing on the train watching this shit. Like when Robin Williams is like this, despondent, and the son's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "He didn't make an entree," and then Hank Azaria is like, "The peasant soup, it's like an entree, it's like a stew." And they're like, "What the fuck?" And then he sent him a sweet and sour peasant soup, and they're all like, "What?" He called it clam chowder.
He comes, he's just like, "Wait a minute, don't forget the shrimp."
Yeah, he had the shrimps in his hand, but he didn't wash. He just is. I mean, that was hilarious when the son like asked Hank Azaria, he was like, "Do you even cook?" And he's like, "Your dad seems to think so." But I was texting Justin about this movie earlier this week, where I was like, because I want to be very sensitive. Obviously, identity is very important, especially in the LGBTQ community. Mm-hmm. And this came out at a different time. This came out in 1996. This is a very progressive movie.
Yes.
For its time. Very, very progressive. Even though, like, some could say that it lends more into the stereotypes that could be harmful, so to speak. But for me, this is a very personal movie because my Nana, this is one of the first R-rated movies I've ever seen. And my grandmother, she played this for me. Like, my grandmother was very, like, even though she was conservative, she was very open to, like, LGBTQ community, like, the community, like, showing that to me in media. Like, she showed me this. Like, she showed me my best friend's wedding. Her favorite character was the gay best friend and shit. And she was just like, and Anthony from Design and Women. Like, they didn't say he was gay, but we all knew he was gay. But for this movie, like, I was actually, when I was watching this again, I'm like, man, like, this is why, like, I'm very comfortable with that community. And I know it's a movie, so that's weird to say. But as, like, a 10-year-old kid, like, that didn't really have much exposure to that community at the time, it was very interesting seeing, like, a loving couple that's going through some shit, but, like, doing everything they can and, like, dealing with, like, having to fake who they are. Like, it was just a very powerful thing for me to watch. It made me very open to that community. You know what I mean?
It's funny because, like, when you said, when you approached me, you were just like, "Hey, is this, like, problematic that, with that thought pattern?" It was just like, but Brandon, like, if this is your first time actually, like, kind of experiencing, that kind of lifestyle, those kind of people, but in the sense of, like, yeah, some things may be a little bit, stereotypical with it, but if you're looking at the film, it's not depicting them in a negative light. It's like they're literally doing everything they possibly can to help their son. You know what I'm saying?
Their asshole son, because we got to talk about that guy.
Yeah. and they're trying to make the world feel comfortable with them. And yes, they are downplaying themselves of who they are, and and just like their experience. But at the same time, is like lots of people do that. Everyone does that. That's
Absolutely.
across the board. People do that every single day, and sometimes whether they realize it or they don't.
Yeah, even code switching's a form of doing this. Like,
Yes, 100%.
just because you don't change your appearance doesn't mean that you're not changing who you are, right? And
Yeah.
so, yeah, man, for me, like this movie just is like it was very interesting because we open with like a drag show and stuff like that, and it's like I just learned to kind of be comfortable like seeing that represented in front of me. So, whenever I meet people that are very primitive in their thinking and very surprised by seeing like certain things, and like especially like when you're out in the city and like you see certain parts of nightlife that are wild and crazy, and if you're not exposed to anything like that or any you know what I mean, like stuff that
Let's not call them
colorful.
wild and crazy. Let's call them just different.
Oh no, I mean I think it's wild and crazy because when you have 3-for-1 drink specials and you got motherfuckers with elongated prosthetics swinging in their G-strings, that's a wild and crazy time.
That is true. That is true.
I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm being honest. I'm like, this is crazy. Boots and saddles. What are y'all doing? It's a Tuesday. But
Hold on.
yeah.
We just need to take a quick walk back and give you guys a little bit behind the scenes, because Brandon, Lluvia, and I were talking before we jumped on the podcast, and Brandon said, this movie makes me think of my nana. And then Lluvia says to Brandon, is like, Brandon, was your nana a drag queen? Floored me.
Yeah.
Floored me.
She wasn't, but maybe she wanted to be. I don't know. It's always curious, like thinking about how open my nana was at the time and being a black conservative. Like, was my nana secretly gay or maybe bi?
Well, I mean, you know what?
You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. Is just like, hey,
because it was so random. Like, no one else in my life, like in my family, no one else in my like pushed that on me. Like, I'm not saying my nana pushed it on me, but she was very much like, I'm not gonna let you watch like Face Off around me, but I'll let you watch this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of like the whole like the MPAA intention, which is like keep the children away from sex in like media, but they can watch gunplay and all that shit. It was like that. It was the polar opposite of that.
I wouldn't say my family weren't against anything. I mean, like my mom, her cousin is very open about his sexuality, but it was just never seen as a thing.
Okay.
It was like never really talked about, never seen as a thing. Like, I imagine just, who my dad was, I imagine he probably may have not been 100% okay. And mainly just because like, one of my cousins, he came out, and like I just don't know how that went. I know that my uncle was very accepting of him. But I don't know where my dad, because it's just something that he never talked about.
Interesting.
But just like considering his background, I guess a part of me is just like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if my dad wasn't down with that.
What's so interesting though is like you never know though, because what if he had like a close friend that was actually gay growing up, and like he just like it just didn't, you know what I mean? Like they just didn't talk about it what it's fine. Like what I mean? Like,
well, but it's also coming from the South, living in Harlem, all that, and that time frame. Typically, it's not conducive of somebody who's very progressive about certain kinds of lifestyles.
Definitely. Yeah, it's like interesting because when you think about the hatred that people have towards groups, like certain groups, especially groups that they have very little exposure to, you're like, oh, that's a deflection of like how you're feeling about your circumstances or who you are. That's not those people. You know what I mean? Because it's like when people like complain about black people, like white people complain about black people, but they're like, there's no black people within like a 50-mile radius of them. And they're just like, why are you even bothering with that? Why are you even bringing it up?
People are afraid of what they don't know. People
Is Justin freezing up for anybody
gay
else?
people. You don't know any of this, and that because it's foreign to you. Yeah, that's the last thing you want to deal with.
Got it.
Am I freezing up? Is it?
You're freezing up a little bit. Yeah, you're back now though.
Okay.
You're like Trey Crowder on that the guest episode we did.
Oh, lovely. Love.
Yeah. Shout out to Trey Crowder and Corey Forster who had us on their podcast not too long ago. That was a good time.
Indeed.
That was good. We're gonna have him back on the show too. We're gonna I don't want to do Forrest Gump though. I want to do like something that's a little unexpected. I feel like Forrest Gump's too on the nose with those guys.
Fair.
I think we could do something. I think we could do something fun and crazy and get their take on it.
Excuse me, guys. I'm eating the kids' Halloween candy.
Why are you eating their candy?
Because that's what dads do. It's the dad tax.
But you can't eat in the microphone.
I'm not eating in the microphone. I'm just saying, like, if you're watching on camera, you're like,
okay.
just yeah, I'm eating these kids' candy.
Do you eat it in front of them?
Oh yeah,
like a good dad.
Yeah, I look at him. It's like, oh, like yeah. You can have 2 pieces. And it was just like, yeah, and Daddy's gonna take one of these.
You know what's hilarious is that's a great life lesson. It's like he's like, but I worked hard for that candy, and you just eat it. It's like, yeah, that's how y'all doing me right now. I work hard for that food, and y'all niggas just eat it.
And I'm the tax man, and I'm gonna come and take my.
Ali in the chat says he calls it dad tax.
That's what it is.
I mean, I gotta say, if I'm Armand, I'm taxing the fuck out of my son Val. I'm taxing the fuck out of my son Val for what he put me through last minute deal, and also the whole thing with Val, like that character actually is very frustrating. Like as an adult watching it,
yeah,
because Val's plan is completely stupid. Because at some point, his soon-to-be wife's family is going to find out who they really fucking are.
100%. But he's also 20 years old, and
true, they're very young to begin with. I felt bad because Callista Flockhart still looked like she was 39 in this movie.
How dare you?
She's a very nice woman. I met her a long time ago with Harrison Ford. Yeah. He's mad tall compared to her. But anyways, they make it work. Lluvia said she was in her 30s in this movie. Oh, well. Oof.
Oh, there you go.
Well, why did they cast her as a 20-year-old? That's so wild. Anyways.
No, she was 19, bro. She was supposed to be 19 in this film.
Okay. The same way that Agador Spartacus was supposed to be a renowned chef. Yo, when they call him Agador,
from Greece.
Agador Spartacus. And then it was like Orban Goldman. It's like Coleman. The D is silent. They said so. They had some crazy. This script was amazing. The script. I don't know. You know what's funny? Actually, I don't know how much is the script. I think a lot of it is the script,
improvisation.
But like, because there were so many great lines. I mean, also Nathan Lane. The fact that he did not get at least the Oscar nomination for this role is fucking beyond. Like, he is so. He yelps. It's some of the funniest shit. I remember like me and my Nana laughing hysterically when he was like, even when he's in the bathroom, when like they don't even know someone's there, like when they're all sitting in those creepy chairs. You just like, is someone else here? It's like, no, that's our dog. What they fucking call it?
Yeah. Fuck.
Piranha or some shit.
Yeah, Piranha. Our dog Piranha. We put him away when we have company.
I mean, yo, with there's just so many funny fucking lines and delivered so hilariously by this cast. I mean, Hank Azaria, when the son is like, "Hey, you gotta put on some shoes, man." He's like, "Yeah, I don't put on shoes because they make me full."
And then he comes out, he's just falling all over the place.
It's the shoes.
I told you it's the shoes.
And then when they redecorated the house, it looks so crazy.
Yeah, yes.
They have
the huge fucking crucifix on the wall.
They have the fucking curtains, and Robin Williams can't get his way out of it and shit.
Oh my god!
He said he felt like he was riding a raging bull towards a barn on fire or some shit. Like, this is completely out of control. But so this movie is about a young man that whose father owns a drag club in South Beach, Florida, called the Birdcage. And Armand, who's played by Robin Williams, and his longtime partner, Albert, who's the star of the show. They've been together for a long time. Albert has a lot of like, I don't even want to call it imposter syndrome. It's deeper than that because he doesn't feel attractive. He thinks that Armand's cheating on him, which they hint that Armand is kind of playing around on him, but they never like really explore that. It's just hint like Hank Azaria's like, I'll tell him that you've seen someone during the show.
So
You know?
this is the thing. I don't think that Armand is playing around with it on him at all. I think it's just the fact is like he is so sensitive. He has to do this. So then he's just trying to avoid issues. Like he has to kind of do sneaky things, just so he doesn't get into an argument. Been in that situation before. And
Oh, really?
Yeah. Where he's just like, oh God, I shouldn't even have to do this, but just for the sake of not causing an argument, I'm just gonna do this on the low, just so I don't have to deal with bullshit.
That's true. I mean, that's why the son immediately doesn't even try to make it work with Albert when they know the girlfriend's family's coming over. He's like, can you just send him away? Like, this is not gonna work. I mean, because dude, when he's trying to teach Albert just how to fucking spread like marmalade on his bread, he's like, you smear. He's like, yeah, you smear like a man. It was like,
he's like, oh, it went through. He's like, put your pinky down. Put your pinky down.
And then when he wore the suit, and it's like a very dramatic moment, but he has the pink socks.
Yes.
And he was like, well, one can't go without a little color.
Just adding a little color.
Yeah, so essentially Belle is getting married to Calista Flockhart's character, and she's part of a very conservative family. Gene Hackman plays this really conservative senator who's embroiled in the scandal because one of like the members of his conservative group died with a young prostitute, right?
With a young prostitute while also being a fucking bigot.
Yes.
Yeah. And they had like they're part of a group that was all about like moral codes and things like that. So it just makes them look very, very bad.
I gotta say, I shout out Robin Williams, Hank Azaria, and Nathan Lane because that's the fucking trifecta in this movie that just fucking brings 110%. Gene Hackman's pretty funny in this too, though. He had that cranky old white comedy phase between like this and Royal Tenenbaums and shit.
Mm-hmm.
When he talks about the leaves and the purple mountains, and everyone's just like,
yeah, he does his whole soliloquy about America. He's like, hey, it was when after everything came out that this whole thing was a ruse, whatever. He's just like, hey, I know that this whole thing didn't necessarily go the way you wanted it to, but hopefully this won't affect your vote. I was like, this motherfucker.
Yeah, it was a fun performance. Like he's like, especially like his weird crush on Albert in drag. And stuff like, and Diane Weiss is like, why? He's like, I love her. No, he's just like enthusiastic about it. But Diane Weiss is like,
she's a lovely woman, and she's smart and intelligent, and she gets it.
He's also like kind of stupid too. He has when they're talking about abortion, he's like, that's what Rush Limbaugh said. Like, but it's a little dated too, obviously. But dude, when he said, true. But when Albert said when they were talking about abortion and Gene Hackman's character is essentially like, we gotta lock up the doctors and kill the doctors, and it's just like, I think you just go for the mothers.
just kill the mothers. They were gonna abort those babies anyway, so just kill the mother. He was two birds with one stone.
No, she said like you get it at like the source or something. It was like something get
it at the source.
And then Robin Williams just like grabs her, like, please. And then she yelps. At the beginning,
at the same time, he's like, that's good. I like the way you
exactly. He was into it. At the beginning with Albert, he's got an imposter syndrome. He's very self-conscious and stuff at this point in their relationship. He's like, it's whatever I am, you made me. I was adorable once, young and full of hope. Now look at me. I'm the short, fat, insecure, middle-aged thing. And then Armand replies, I made you short. Like there's like some funny lines like that, but also they apparently were able to riff after getting one take with the real lines.
Oh, so, I mean, you could tell. You could tell that they were just going.
Well, one of the best like scenes in the movie is the improvised. Well, it wasn't even improvised; it's accidental. When the kid comes back after freaking out because they're talking about abortions and all kinds of shit, and and then Robin Williams, he's despondent. He's like, he didn't cook an entree, and then Robin Williams slips that wasn't scripted. That was an accident. So when he gets up, he's all frazzled. He's like, shut the fuck. He's like, shut up, stop crying. This nigga's there just in the corner crying with shrimp in his hands. He's like, fuck the shrimp. He's like, fuck the shrimp.
Oh my god.
And then he had those gay bowls, the bowls of the graphic.
Yeah, with the men. Oh yeah, there are young boys in there and girls. Mine has girls. You have girls when you're. It's like no, I'm pretty sure that's a boy, young boy, and they're playing leapfrog. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, this movie was insane. So essentially, the conservative family goes to South Beach to hide out, and also like they need to approve of this partnership, this marriage that's gonna happen.
No. They use it to take the heat off of the negative press happening with the death of the other senator, and like that. So basically, it's like, well, basically they're going to bury news with news. And it's just like this, so they thought is a nice like homebred family. They're they haven't been divorced. Da 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 da. It's like, so our daughter's marrying to this great family, and that will take away from the negative press of this guy dying and doing this immoral bullshit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is technically what the news does every single day.
Yeah, you ain't wrong there, Mr. Brown. Yeah. Man, I love this movie. Just like there's so many like one-liners and burns, and so the kid convinces Robin Williams to like pretend to be a straight guy in a straight marriage, to not ruffle any feathers with this conservative family, and then Agador, he was like, I'll work for you, but when you gonna let me audition for you again? And then Armand's like, when you have talent. I was like, God damn. And they call him Adagar. I'm still like laughing that they called him Adagar Spartacus.
Yeah.
He wants to be called his full name.
It's so just like I feel like most of this episodes of VS just laughing at the things that we saw, because it's hard to explain, because like it is a very frantic movie. It's very frantic. There's very panicky kind of energy to it, but like it all pays off, and it all really it really hits in all like in its own way. Not saying that like it just hits, because once you kind of buy into what this is and what's happening, you just immediately is like, oh, okay. So it's like, there's no way this is going to work. And you see it all, this onion just unfolding. Everything is happening all around. It was like, oh, when are they going to get found out?
Oh, yeah. Like, it's just a disaster. It's just getting worse and worse. And everyone's just losing their minds. They're drinking more, And then Robin Williams keeps putting ice and scotch and shit because he's so nervous.
Well, I mean, when he first comes, and like how weird Robin Williams was playing it, because he's just very like stoic. Yeah, it was. I would like I can't even imagine what it's like to have to try to hide yourself in this way. But I feel like this is what it would be like. That's like I really
just
feel like this is what
chaos.
it would be. Yeah,
just chaos and madness. I mean, well, first of all, why they make Agador cook? Like, they were just so frantic. I mean, to be fair, they had like less than a day to prepare for this shit, right? But like Robin Williams didn't even think to be like, this guy could barely clean my house. You know what I mean? Like, what makes you think he can perform being a professional butler and chef? Like, he's like, what the heck? When he pours this up, he goes, sorry, I'm laughing through what I'm talking. But when he pours the seafood chowder to try to cover the bowls before they can really see what's in it, and then they're like, Diane Wee's like, there's an egg in here. He's like, oh yeah, it's a delicacy or some shit. And then he gets back in the kitchen. He's like, what the hell are you serving us? He's like, it's sweet and sour peasant soup. I made it up. Just I was like, I've been there. Where you just like, fuck it. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh my God.
It's like one time when I was bartending, it wasn't like one of your sister's events, but I had to bartend another event. And like some nigga gave me like a crazy sounding drink. I was like, what's in that? He was like, I don't know. I was like, okay. He was like, you're the bartender. I'm like, all right.
Well, you're gonna get what I give you, baby.
You're gonna get the Brandon sauce. That's what you're gonna get.
It's funny. So the first time
that's
I ever
a nasty special Brandon sauce.
Oh yeah, it does because it sounds like Ed sauce. So the
It's
first
clear
time
with
I
a little hint of green in it.
all right. So the first time I ever did the bartending events with my sister, there was this guy, older
You gotta
guy.
explain to the audience what those are.
Okay, so
we might have
these
some new
events,
listeners.
they were
They were so bad.
we
Paid a lot though.
Yeah. So we worked for a union. We worked for a union, their holiday party. So all of these people are union workers that worked in like, well, I mean, just for whatever union, in New York City, most likely like parts or yada yada yada. And that's basically what it was. We were running their holiday party. We had a bar. Sometimes we had mixed drinks. Sometimes it was just like, soda, beer, yada yada yada. But it was super simple, super simple. So the first time I did it, there was this one guy, older guy, that was there. I would say, well, he was older than me, probably maybe early 40s. And somebody asked for some drink that, I didn't know how to make. So I asked the guy, hey, what is a such and such and such? How do you make a such and such? And then he looks at me, he goes, it's like, it's whatever, bartender. And I looked at Brandon. Now, so Brandon, you've known me for many years. Yes. So you've seen me go from complete and utter wild animal to the point where I'm just like, okay, I'm not volatile. I'm not a volatile human being. At this point, I was still more wild animal than not. And I remember looking at this guy, is just like, what if I smash that bottle over your head? He looks at me like, don't fucking disrespect me. Go fuck on the other side. He's like, this guy walks away. I'm like, who are these fucking people?
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro.
Those
parties.
They're the kind of people that say, give me the Mosquito, and they mean Moscato. They mean Moscato.
He fit right into all of those fucking terrible idiots.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we weren't doing ourselves any favors the way that we operated. Like, it was just fucking chaos. Like, folks, we had these big trash cans, like literally like huge trash buckets, and we filled them with ice and then put soda in them, not thinking eventually that ice is gonna melt.
And we're gonna have to go in there. It's
gonna be an ice bucket where you literally have to put your whole fucking body in. Like, yo, like I was into my shoulders trying to get a Sprite.
Yo, we were dumpster diving.
It's so cold. And it's like a Christmas party too, so it's the winter, and we're putting our arms in fucking ice water, trying to find a Dr. Pepper for this motherfucker that's not gonna tip us.
And we all come out at the end of the night with Legionnaire's disease. Yeah. Did you work that one time where I was running it?
Yeah.
And this was so smooth.
I mean, it was smoother. None of those have ever been smooth.
No, but it was so much smoother. I mean, yeah, it couldn't be like
it could never be smooth.
No, because as well as you become prepared, as well as you can be prepared for that night, the madness of those people will always throw you off.
Oh yeah. Because then you start seeing like hidden bottles of Hennessy and shit popping up, and they'd be like, "Yeah, give me a splash of juice." It's like, sir, like I'm not gonna do that. It's like, well, then give me the good stuff. I'm like, sir, like we have wine and beer. What do you want?
He's just like, I know that somebody over there is getting this. You tell me I can't get it.
Oh yes, there'd be people that would get mad when they were like, "Oh, I saw somebody drinking some Henny." It's like, that's not us. But what the fuck's that? Like, I'm not tricking you. I'm not lying to you. Anyways, so they do try to get Val's biological mother, who apparently he hasn't seen in 20 years, like his whole life. his whole
yeah,
life. But she's willing to come and pretend to be a nuclear family so that this, conservative family isn't bothered. But then she gets caught in traffic. So then Albert, who pretty much is like, I'm going to just get out of Dodge, shows up as the mom, Catherine. And
No,
it's just,
no. At first, he was they were gonna make him leave. But then Robin Williams is just like, you know what?
This is your home.
Yeah, I want you to stay, and they're just gonna have to deal with it. So that's what was going to happen. But then, as you said earlier, it's just like, if you're gonna be a man, I mean, if you're gonna be a straight man, you have to learn to be, a straight man. Yeah. As they realized that wasn't necessarily going to work, Val actually made the call to his mom, who was already booked to do it. Yeah. But then, basically, Robin Williams, Armand canceled her. Yeah. He basically is like, no, show up, just don't be late.
Yeah.
So he basically screwed them over because they probably would have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that whole thing happening.
That was a dick move. That's why I was like, Val's kind of a dick in this because he's, I appreciate that, like, as much as Armand loves his son, he does say, yeah, and I need you, like, after, like, making these adjustments and stuff, he's like, so I need you to get on my face for a few minutes.
Yeah, like, I need you not talk to me.
I need you not, because this is a lot, and it's also, I'm sure it hurt his feelings too,
100%.
Like, despite, like, the son countering with, like, you made me lie about what you did, who you were when I was a kid or whatever. But this is different, buddy. Like, you're both adults now, and you're making your father and his lifelong partner, who you essentially see as a second dad,
as he calls his mother.
Yeah,
he refers to as his mother.
And it's like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, that's because, to be honest, I think that's why I have a problem with Calista Flockhart in this, is that I feel like if you're going to ask that much of, like, these people that raised you and that you claim to love very much, then the person you're doing that for has to be worth it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that Calista Flockhart did in her performance that made it feel like that's worth it.
True.
That was the only misstep in this movie for me, a little bit. Because now, like, on an emotional level, like, I do think that the juice needs to be worth the squeeze a little bit more. Yeah. It doesn't take anything away from the comedy. And some of the really strong dramatic moments, especially with Nathan Lane in this movie. But now that I'm digging deeper, Calista Flockhart, like, needed to bring something in. I think it was miscast, honestly.
I think that they should have actually had her character. What's her name? What's her name in this? Barbara. Barbara and Val should have had more scenes together, so we could have seen how much they actually love each other.
Yeah,
that's the thing that was missing, where they needed to build that. So then that you didn't want to think this is like, all right, these are just two young kids who are jumping the gun here.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, no, this is something real. And, like, he wouldn't ask his dad and his partner to do this if it wasn't for the fact is that, like, he's trying, he has the real thing and he's desperately trying to hold on to it.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Ain't nothing like the real thing. Come on.
No.
Is it? Oh no, is that really what
I don't know. That's just what
I never knew either. I was like, oh,
so glad we got the real thing, baby. So glad we got the real thing. That's a good song.
I'm home. I don't know.
Is that what you were going with? I'm home.
I used to say top dog, but that didn't feel right.
Top dog. Top dog animal service. Like, you just pulled that right out of a fucking commercial, a radio commercial. Top dog. No, it'd probably be Top Dog Security Services. Like that.
And the niggas taken and beat up, and the places they're supposed to protect get robbed. We try to be Top Dog. I didn't say it's guaranteed. Ooh. I would own a failed security business. I thought it was a sure thing. You hire
All you
big
had to do
niggas.
was stand there.
You hire big niggas. They protect shit.
And they just commit mutiny overthrow you. And then you got to hire other niggas to go in to beat the big niggas, and then they overthrow you too.
Be like, hey, Best Buy, how you doing? How's my security guard holding up? Oh, they took over the store. Yeah, my insurance doesn't cover that. Just
let them have the TVs, man. Let them have the TV.
I hired a bunch of retail supervillains and shit. All right. Oh man, that made me cry. So yeah, when Albert shows up dressed up as Catherine, and Hank Azaria started laughing.
Took the whole entire film to a whole nother fucking level.
Oh yeah, because they're both this Armand, the son's reaction is like, oh no.
But yeah, when he comes out and oh my god, it just took it to a whole other fucking level. But then the fact that it was working,
yeah, that was what's so weird about it. Like Gene Hackman is immediately smitten with Catherine.
Yeah. And what's her name? Oh my god, Diane Weiss.
Yeah.
Weiss. She was just kind of just like standing there. She's like, wait, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah. That. I mean, I would feel like I'm losing my mind if I went into that house. Yeah. You know what I mean? The way that like they just were from like moment one going through those doors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got fucking Argado or whatever, Spartacus fucking with his weird ass bowels. Then they couldn't get it right with like what school he went to, you know, where he's from and shit. And then Robin was out of nowhere, just like, everyone sit. Like he just demanded.
He was like, everyone sit. Please.
It's like, are these niggas vampires? Why is this vibe so weird?
Oh man.
And just a fucking big ass crucifix on the wall.
And
he's like, I'm Jewish.
Oh god.
But they weren't supposed to admit that. There's all kinds of red flags in this relationship.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean, at the end we're supposed to like be convinced that Gene Hackman's going to change his ways because, you know, they helped him get out of his predicament, and he even embraced the drag culture because he dressed up in drag to evade the, you know, the news tabloids and shit.
Yes. Now, this is the thing though. Now, so this is obviously came out in the mid 90s.
Yeah, 96, baby. The year of the Geechee.
I was a little thrown off by like the fact that, like, oh yeah, and it was like I guess they are also anti-Semitic, yeah, anti-Semitic at the same time of being like ultra conservative, being anti-Semitic as well. I was just like, was that a thing in politics, or like was that a thing at that time where you were just like totally against Jewish people for no reason? Yeah. Like that, it kind of just threw me off. I'm just like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as well.
Racism is rampant all the time. It's not like a niche thing, you know what I mean?
Yes, but I don't know. It just kind of like, I was just like, wait, where did that come from?
Yeah, man. I remember like I was like, oh, this is something I guess I got like, you know, be aware of. When I first saw School Ties. And they treated Brendan Fraser like he was a nigga. I was like, oh shit. You know, the craziest line ever that Matt Damon ever said in a movie was at the end of that movie when he gets expelled from that school, and he rolls out his window looking at Brendan Fraser. He's like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that I got expelled. You'll still be a Jew. I was like, whoa. Yikes. I was like, yo, School Ties is wild. We should probably do that movie. It's mad dramatic though. But
okay, we need to go down that road.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, but I mean, like I didn't appreciate that they were having these kind of like interesting conversations in this movie with like Gene Hackman and his wild conservative views, and like Nathan Lane kind of yes-anding it to make it even more absurd than it already is.
Yeah.
To kind of like show like, you know, what you're saying is crazy, right? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you know, I thought that was very clever.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, because he's trying to show him like, okay, this is what you're saying is fucking nuts. So I'm gonna say something even more absurd. He's just like, that's a great idea. It's like, wait, what?
I mean, that's kind of what happened with MAGA and shit.
Yeah.
It just got crazy and crazy. It became reality.
Yeah,
You know,
that's fucking reality.
Did you know that the guy? So there's these tabloid dudes that are following Gene Hackman and his family to South Beach and stuff. Nothing really comes from them except for like the fact that they're like the ones that break the story. So that's what creates all the commotion and all the cameras where they have to sneak them out. Yeah. But the guy who works with the fat tabloid dude, that actor's name is Grant Hensloff, and he was in Congo, and he's randomly a producing partner with George Clooney, and this guy has like 2 Oscars.
Yeah,
like really random.
Yeah,
because I just remember him from this movie and Congo, and I just remember seeing him on stage winning an Oscar with George Clooney one time. I'm like, what? The nigga from Congo?
Well, you know what? He's been in a lot of stuff though.
Has he?
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
like you know, as a bit actor, like, but he's been in a lot of stuff. Like, he's one of those guys. It's like especially from this period. It's just like, oh, I remember that actor's face. Never knew his name, but I remember his face.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just was like a random like movie nerd thing. I was like, oh yeah,
that guy, that dude.
Man alive, I can't get over it. Like, I love the whole, just everyone freaking out and constantly drinking from the bottle, like, because they can't believe what's happening. Like, Val and Armand just like both freaking out, like coming to each other, like, what is going on?
Oh, you know, it's funny, that guy, the guy we were just talking about, Grant Heslow. He was also in Dante's Peak.
yes, he was. He was part of those nerds that held with the volcano.
Dante's Peak, Enemy of the State is actually where I remember him from. The Scorpion King, like, yo, he's been in a lot of stuff that you would know. He's also in Argo as well, but like, yeah, he's been in a lot of different things.
Got it. Yeah. It was hell of a filmography. Same with Nathan Lane, Robin Williams, and Hank Azaria. Literally three comedy actors that have legacies.
Yeah.
Like, for different reasons. Like, Hank Azaria for like all of the Simpsons classic characters. I know Apu, like, he's done with Apu, but even that's a classic character. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
Right. And then his physical comedy in this movie is just fucking hilarious. Like, just the way he walks in the shoes, like, you can't replicate that. You have Nathan Lane, who's hilarious in this. Obviously a Broadway star, won a lot of Tonys. Fucking the voice of Timon in The Lion King, one of the funniest voice, acting performances alongside
just a great
Robin Williams and Aladdin. I mean, Timon and Pumbaa, whoever came up with that dynamic, I mean, they should get all that money from Lion King. I mean, obviously, like, the artists and stuff like that and the voice acting, but like, immediately below that should be the niggas that came up with Timon and Pumbaa.
Like,
because that comedy dynamic,
yeah.
Like, it's any Disney amusement park, those two, like, in a kids section, have like a bunch of shit going on.
Yeah,
like animatronics and all that shit. But then also Nathan Lane had one of the funniest lines I've heard in recent memory, like in the past like 10 years on a TV show, The People versus OJ. Remember that that's miniseries? And John Travolta is the crazy other lawyer and shit. So Nathan Lane's part of that lawyer team, and I guess John Travolta's character thinks that Nathan Lane has pretty much ratted him out about like their team dysfunction, and then John Travolta goes, Judas, and Nathan Lane, his sassiness is like, so that makes you Jesus. Just the delivery is just amazing. Oh, he's also in Only Murders in the Building, so he's still out here working. And then, of course, rest in power, Robin Williams. One of the, man,
Ghost.
Just like, man, just so funny. Like, when he does the dances with the choreography, Madonna, bossy. It just, man, I wrote down, I was like, I really miss Robin Williams.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know what he would do today. Like, he's probably, I feel like live action, he would do a lot of dramas, but like, he might still do some animated shit.
No, he was he was getting sick. He was losing his ability.
Oh man,
Yeah, that's well, from what I understand, like that was a contributing factor to
I can see that. Yeah, that's
because he wasn't himself.
yeah.
Yeah, this must be extremely hard, but like yeah.
But still, like another classic Robin Williams role. And he was initially supposed to play Albert, but he felt it was too close to Mrs. Doubtfire. And then also, unfortunately, Steve Martin had to drop out, and he was going to play Armand. So then Robin Williams was able to flip it, and they were able to get Nathan Lane on.
Yeah, I could not see Steve Martin doing a better job than Robin Williams.
Yes,
in that role, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, especially at this time, I would say getting to grow and really appreciate Steve Martin, I think it could have still been really funny. It just would have been a different.
It would have been a different. It would have, yeah.
It still would have been really funny, I think, though, because the Steve Martin, man. Have you seen Bowfinger in the recent?
Not recently. I've seen it,
dude. He and Eddie Murphy. I don't know if that movie slept on, man. They're fucking hilarious in that movie. But yeah, like Steve Harvey. Steve Martin. Steve Harvey, this would have been crazy.
Oh my god! But wait, if Steve Harvey was in this movie, who would he be playing? If
Armand,
he was,
and then who would be Albert?
Oh my god,
Terrence Howard.
Oh my god,
Terrence Howard and Steve Harvey in the Birdcage.
Okay. You're Terrence Howard.
All right, I got you.
I'm Steve Harvey
as Armand. Okay.
Yeah, as Armand.
And I'm supposed to be, who am I again?
You're Terrence Howard
as Albert playing Catherine.
Yes.
Oh boy.
All right. So dinner scene, you want to kick it off or I'll go?
No, you kick it off. I can yes and you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I grew up outside of Chicago. But then I transferred down here, here to Florida. And baby.
Yeah, man. He be tell you what we do.
Hold on, Brandon. You're supposed to be playing a gay man who is masquerading as a woman.
Yeah, but I'm Terrence Howard too. That's
the best. That's the best. Wait, hold on. Voice. Hold on. Terrence Howard, you can do as a woman. Okay, go on.
Hold on. Okay. Oh. Cookie. No, not cookie. Hey, man, mister. Thank you for coming to our house. I'm not Terrence Howard.
Okay, well, let's just end that right there.
All right, what would your Terrence Howard sound like with those three fucking layers in your head? My brain pretty much exploded.
Well, I feel like Terrence Howard almost has a thing where it almost seems he's about to cry at any time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, goddamn Macho's tail. So he has that thing, he's about to cry at any time. It'd be like, there were times in my lives when we felt.
You sound like Black Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
You sound like a Bubba had his own movie. What the fuck was that?
Listen here, man. I'm that boy's mother.
Now you sound like Big Mama from Soul Food. We're both terrible. I mean, folks, it broke my mind trying to play Terrence Howard.
Well, hold on, Brandon. My Terrence Howard is much better than your Terrence.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll admit that. I'll take that out. Absolutely, man.
I mean, I just couldn't. For some reason, I just couldn't make him a woman. So I get, I'm that boy. Listen here, man. I'm that boy's mother, and I gotta put that into a higher register.
Yeah.
Listen here, man. I don't feel like it can work. It can't work.
No,
it can't work. Tu Wong Fu would be a different movie if Terrence Howard was in. I'll say.
Oh shit!
Holy shit!
So apparently, at the time of this movie, even though Nathan Lane, like his character, is openly gay, at the time of this film's release, he hadn't come out yet. publicly. Yeah.
Oh, so he was just enjoying this.
Yeah.
He was just good for him.
With $18.3 million, it was the highest opening weekend with the openly gay character in the lead until Bruno in 2009. Yeah, that's wild. Apparently, Diane Keaton was initially the first choice to play the role of Louise Keeley, but she felt the role was too similar to her character in Father of the Bride and Father of the Bride Part 2, so she declined.
Okay. I could see that.
Jim Carrey and Billy Crystal were considered for the role of Armand Goldman.
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey in the mid-90s, that would have been too much. I think that almost would have.
That would have been out of control.
I think I Love You, Philip Morris. I think that Jim Carrey couldn't have made this work. I think Ace Ventura masked Jim Carrey would have torpedoed this movie.
Oh yeah. He would have destroyed it.
But like,
Billy
you know what
Crystal?
I mean? Like when I said the Billy Crystal, yeah, this is like City Slickers.
Yeah,
Kalen, Billy Crystal.
I think that he could have. I think that he could have done okay.
Yeah, it would. It's just there's just something magical about Robin Williams and Nathan Lane's energy, and Hank Azaria just falling apart around them. You know what I mean?
But you know what though? I think the other thing that made it so good with Robin Williams in the role was he didn't overdo it at all.
Yeah.
He I don't think that Robin Williams' character was in any way stereotypical. He just played it as a guy who lives in South Beach, and you know, such like, yeah, there was a little bit of like I guess a feminine energy around, but not much. He was very much more of a masculine kind of guy. And I think that role, you have to kind of play it that way because him and Nathan Lane's character have to be kind of polar opposites. Because if you have the both of them just going blow for blow on like who's gonna be more crazy with their performances, it would have just been too much. And I also think that it would have led people, especially people who are not fans of the lifestyle, to be turned off and not want to watch it.
I get that. I mean, yeah, he did. Also, we talked about this in comedy, like particularly like improv, making room. Like he made room for the other actors in the scene with him.
Yeah.
Like I keep going back to the kitchen meltdown scene when he slips. But even the actor that played Val, even though I didn't like that character, Dan Futterman, when he's just like almost crying and bursting into tears, like shaking his head, and Robin was just like, "Everyone, stop crying! Stop crying! God damn it!" And Sarah was just the shrimp. It's like, oh, this is just badness as they were filming.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we literally saw these characters just have mental breakdowns.
Yeah.
Even Gene Hammond's character, like, I can be convinced that there's a part like where he knows the situation that he's in, but his brain just breaks because he's like between the scandal I'm already dealing with and now I'm in this situation, like his brain just breaks and he's insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a moment where I can see that
this would be a lot. This would be a lot for anybody to deal with. Because like if I imagine, so let's say, I guess in this case, so let's say Jackson or Axel are marrying a girl, and for some reason they thought that I wouldn't be okay with it, and and this is what's happening.
That'd be hilarious.
And I'm sitting inside the house. I'd be like, excuse me.
You'd be coughing at them?
Well, yes, I probably would, just trying to hold them. It's like, what the fuck is happening here? But I'd be like wide eyed, just looking around, like, wait, hold on a second. But I don't think I would be able to be there without calling it out sooner.
Yeah,
just because of who I am, I'd be like, okay, what the fuck's going on here? It's like what's happening right now? I think I would catch on a lot faster. But like this would 100% just be like the craziest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And while you're trying to be like nice, and you're and you don't want to offend anyone, there comes a point where you just be like, okay, what's going on? What's
exactly going on? Yeah, I mean, even just the decor looked off-putting. Their house back home didn't look like that.
Yeah,
looked like a vampire lair. It was fucking crazy. And then you have this nigga that like he's Guatemalan just stomping around, the shoes are falling everywhere and shit. And then they're like, he's a great chef. No one can eat the fucking food. They all immediately like that scene where they all take a spoon. Why was there an egg in there?
You know what? And this is a thing. This is the thing immediately I thought about is just like, you're gonna show up to these people's house for dinner, right? You didn't bring anything. And this is supposed to be,
so disrespectful.
Yeah, this is supposed
the first
to be
time
like
in the
your
house?
in-laws. Yeah, like this is the first time you're meeting them. It's like if it were me, it's just like, all right, like I need to bring something because this is also like there's a bigger thing. It's not like, hey, hey, Brandon, you just bought a house. So that's me going to your house for the first time. No. This is like a huge deal. It's just like everyone's dressed to impress. Everyone's on their best behavior. I'm going to bring something, it's like, this is it's like the fact that they just showed up. It's like, nah.
Yeah, it's so disrespectful, man.
No,
You're a guest in my house.
It just depends.
Give me some wine or something.
Yeah, at least a wine. At least some wine.
When he's walking with the champagne and he opens the court. Oh man. Well, let's see. I don't think there's any more trivia to really share. Oh, this movie had a budget of 31 million and it grossed 185.3 million dollars. Wow. And then Hank Azaria realized after filming that he based his voice on his grandmother.
Fair.
He's like, oh, sweet God, I just did my grandma. It's the truth. All right, Justin, break down our rating system, Mia Moore.
Stop calling me baby or your love. Yeah, really don't call me your love. So guys, you know how we do this. We rate movies bags of popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a film doesn't deserve any popcorn, we throw it into the dog shit pile. We pile piles and piles of dog shit on top of it. So Brandon, we sat down and we watched The Birdcage, a 1996 comedy that's starring Robin Williams, Gene Hackman, Nathan Lane, and Diane Weist. I'm sorry, and Hank Azaria, and that's pretty much it. People you really want to highlight. Yeah. What say you, sir?
Yeah, man, this gets an XL. This is one of my favorite comedies. This is like it's just so funny with the physical comedy, just like the one-liners, the quips. It's just so insane. And it still holds up. I've watched it periodically, like every few years, and it still makes me laugh hysterically. Like it's still, the emotional parts still hit really well. Like I actually really, really enjoyed this, and just help me remember the greatness that is Robin Williams. And it makes me sad that he's no longer here, but like, man, his movies had such an impact on my childhood. And also like obviously hit hard because of my memories of my Nana and like her openness to showing me stuff like this, and like laughing hard with me and like helping me kind of helped me develop my sense of humor, because her reaction to seeing like Hank Azaria falling around and like Robin Williams having his tantrums and stuff like that shaped my sense of humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this movie like surprisingly had a huge impact on me, and it still hits even like without that bias. Justin, what's your rating?
So funny thing is, I realized upon watching this, I never saw this movie.
Oh, wow.
This is my first time watching it. And in some way, in my head, I mixed this up with Clue, the 1985 film with Tim Curry. I don't know why, but like in my head, it was just like, the Birdcage. Okay. Yeah, Clue. Which is dumb because Clue is Clue, which we should put that on the list. Well, Clue, that was a fucking wild movie. But so going into this, thinking that it was something else, like this is 100% an XL. Like I was so happy of what I got in this film. And like it did have some heart in it. It's not necessarily just like, just a bag. It is a bag of laughs. Don't get me wrong, but like, it does kind of speak just like, just accepting, yourself. And
Yeah.
so Nathan Lane had some great lines in there, and Robin Williams about like kind of who they are and such. But it was phenomenally cast, outside of Clarissa Flockhart. And it really just it really hit. It just hit every single time.
Hit me with your best shot.
Every single time I was just like, okay, it's like, how can this get even crazier? They upped the ante, they just turned that knob a little bit more, and it just kept on getting funnier and funnier.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, he's like, what dummy doesn't check the plates? He's like, there was no time. he's like, I'm missing so much for the soup.
You didn't even allow me to go. You didn't even allow me to go shopping.
So stupid. Well, there you have it, folks. That's a review of the Birdcage. And our producer Lluvia said that she picked it for the Thanksgiving holiday theme, family, heart emoji. Yes, just like Vin Diesel and the Fast and Furious, we get down with family. And y'all should get down with the family too by signing up at patreon.com/medium popcorn. Become part of the Medium Popcorn family. Any tier will do. It helps the show and it helps you because you're going to get the laughs that you want. You're going to get the money that we need to succeed. I'm Eddie Collins. Y'all can follow me at Frodo_Blackheads on all the social media platforms, except for X, because I'm done with X. I'm probably going to be leaving social media soon. But Justin, they also know that they can follow the show at Medium P Podcast on all the social media platforms, and also mediumpopcorn.com for all your Medium Popcorn needs, including Patreon. And Justin, how can people follow you, sir, on the social media?
Guys, you can follow me at J Brown Did It on the socials. Please leave us a 5-star review. It helps us. It helps the show grow. And also take us, actually do us a favor by letting us hear your voices at 347-508-0978. We love to hear your take on this movie or any other film that we've ever done. Just throw it out there. We just we like to get a little special holiday treat from.
Let us know how we doing, y'all. Also, you can leave a 5-star review on the your favorite podcast application. We will read it on the show. But most importantly, patreon.com/medium popcorn. Come on, get that extra butter in your ear and your eyes too, because you get access to private YouTube videos. Indeed. That sounds weird. Of the reviews that we did, not like just Justin and I flashing out.
Private YouTube. YouTube for money. Do what you want us to do.
Imagine you sign up for our Patreon, and then like immediately get a private message, just like, here's a private video link to welcome you. And it's just me dancing around a G-string, just thrusting at the camera.
Just staring them directly into the eye. We should do that.
Nothing related to the movies. Nothing related to us. It's just me thrusting. We are family. All right, y'all. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.